Before you say a single word, before your mind starts explaining itself, notice which one already caught your eye. Not the most comfortable one, not the most logical one, the one that felt, even for a split second, like yours. Because what you are about to discover is not about pillows. It is about rest, and what rest truly means to your soul. We spend 1/3 of our entire lives in a state of surrender, eyes closed, guard lowered, completely vulnerable. And yet, we rarely ask ourselves why we rest the way we do, what we are actually searching for when we close our eyes, what we are trying to escape, or perhaps what we are desperately trying to hold on to. Carl Jung believed that even our smallest, most unconscious choices carry the fingerprints of the deeper self, the part of us that does not speak in words, but speaks in feelings, in pulls, in that quiet internal yes when something resonates. Right now, in front of you are 6 options: a stack of soft layered pillows, a curved, embracing body pillow, a folded, compressed bundle, a single flat minimal cushion, a plain pillow beside a pair of grounded shoes, and something unexpected, a cat, still, watchful, quietly present. Do not analyze them. Do not think about which one is better or more comfortable. Simply ask yourself which one feels familiar, which one, without any reason you can fully explain, already feels like you. Your answer is already forming. And what it reveals may be something you've been carrying quietly for a very long time. The stacked pillows, the layered soul. If your eyes were drawn to the stack of soft, layered pillows, one placed carefully upon another, then your inner world is one of depth, accumulation, and quiet complexity. You do not live on the surface of things. You layer, you build, you hold. Every experience you have ever had, every relationship, every loss, every small joy has not simply passed through you. It has settled. It has become part of your structure. And over time, you have become someone made of many, many layers. From the outside, this may look like calm, like softness, like someone who is easy to be around. And in many ways, you are. But what few people understand is the weight you carry beneath that softness. Each layer represents something you have absorbed, processed, and quietly integrated, often without anyone noticing, often without asking for help. Jung called this the process of sedimentation, the way the psyche builds itself not through dramatic events alone, but through the slow, quiet accumulation of lived experience. You are that process made visible. Your strength is enormous. You can hold space for others in ways that feel almost effortless because you have already held so much within yourself. People lean on you, they rest against you, and you allow it because your nature is to support, to cushion, to absorb. But here's the shadow this choice reveals. When you get to put something down, you've been adding layers for so long that you may have forgotten what it feels like to release one, to say, this is not mine to carry anymore, to allow yourself to be the one who leans, instead of always being the one who holds. Your growth is not in adding more depth. You already have it. Your growth is in discernment, learning which layers belong to you and which ones were placed there by others who did not know how to carry their own weight. The stack of pillows is beautiful precisely because of its layers, but even the most beautiful stack needs to be rearranged sometimes, needs to breathe, needs to be seen, not just used. If this was your choice, your soul is asking one quiet question: who holds you while you are busy holding everyone else? The C-shaped body pillow, the one who longs to be held. If the curved, embracing body pillow drew you in, that soft, C-shaped form designed to wrap entirely around another, then your deepest psychological need right now is not for comfort in the ordinary sense. It is for containment, for the feeling of being surrounded, of being held, not just physically, but emotionally, completely. There is a part of you that has been exposed for too long. You've been navigating life in open space, making decisions, facing difficulties, showing up for others, without anything truly surrounding you, without that quiet, steady presence that says, I am here. You do not have to face this alone. Jung spoke of the maternal archetype, not as a literal mother, but as that primal psychological need every human being carries, the need to return, sometimes, to a state of being held, of being safe within something larger than yourself. Choosing this pillow suggests you are someone who gives warmth freely. You comfort others. You make space for people. You know how to make someone feel less alone. Because somewhere deep inside, you know exactly what that loneliness feels like. But here's the truth this choice quietly reveals. You may have spent so much time being the comfort for others that your own need for has gone unmet. Quietly, slowly, for longer than you realize. This is not a weakness. It is one of the most human things a person can feel. The body pillow wraps around you. It does not ask you to be strong. It does not need you to perform. It simply says, rest here. Be held. You are allowed. Your challenge is not learning to be strong. You already are. Your challenge is learning to receive. To let someone hold you back. To ask, not just to give. To allow yourself to need something without immediately apologizing for it. If this image called to you, your inner world is not broken. It is simply exhausted from being needed, and quietly longing for the same tenderness it gives away so easily. You deserve to be held just as completely as you hold others. Remember that. The folded, compressed pillow, the one who has learned to make themselves small. If the folded, tightly compressed pillow was the one that resonated with you, that image of something soft, pressed down, folded inward, then what your subconscious has just revealed is both deeply honest and deeply important. Somewhere along your journey, you learned to compress yourself, not because you wanted to, but because the space around you required it. Perhaps the people in your life needed a lot of room, and so you quietly gave them yours. Perhaps you were taught, directly or indirectly, that being too much was a problem, that your feelings were too heavy, your needs too loud, your presence too large, and so you folded. You became smaller, more contained, more manageable, and you became very, very good at it. Jung described this as the formation of the false self, the version of ourselves we construct in response to external pressure. It is not dishonest, exactly. It is adaptive. It is survival. But here is what the folded pillow also reveals. It is still soft inside. Beneath all that compression, beneath all the careful folding and the quiet smallness, your original nature has not disappeared. It has simply been waiting for a space large enough to expand into, waiting for someone safe enough to unfold beside, waiting for the moment, perhaps this moment, when you begin to realize that you do not have to stay small to be loved. You were never too much. You were simply surrounded by people who could not hold enough. The folded pillow asks a courageous question. What would you become if you finally gave yourself permission to take up space? Your growth begins the moment you stop making yourself smaller to fit into spaces that were never designed for your full size. You were meant to unfold. The flat, minimal pillow, the one who has learned to need very little. If the single, flat, minimal pillow spoke to you, just one, simple, understated, no excess, then you carry within you the psychology of radical self-sufficiency. You have learned, perhaps through necessity, to need very little from the world around you. You do not ask for much. You do not demand comfort. You do not lean heavily on others. And people often admire this about you. Your independence, your quiet strength, your apparent lack of neediness. But Jung warned that every strength, when taken to its extreme, becomes a shadow of itself. The flat pillow provides support, but only minimally, only just enough. And somewhere beneath your self-sufficiency lives a quiet question you rarely let yourself ask. What would it feel like to have more than just enough? You have trained yourself to survive on minimum comfort, on small amounts of warmth, on just enough connection to keep moving. But surviving is not the same as thriving. Your soul did not come here to need nothing. It came here to experience fullness, warmth, depth, richness, connection. The minimalism you carry may have begun as wisdom, but over time, it may have quietly transformed into a wall, a way of protecting yourself from the possibility of wanting something and not receiving it. If this image chose you, your deepest invitation is this. Allow yourself to want more, not out of greed, but out of the honest acknowledgement that you are worthy of softness, of abundance, of pillows stacked high. If that is what your soul truly desires, you are allowed to need more than just enough. The pillow with the shoes, the one who rests, but never fully arrives. If your eye was drawn to the fifth image, that plain pillow beside a pair of grounded shoes, as if someone just arrived or is just about to leave, then your inner world is caught in one of the most quietly exhausting patterns a human being can live in. You are always in transition. You never fully arrive. You never fully leave. There's always somewhere else you should be, something else that needs your attention. Some reason why this moment, this rest, this peace, this comfort, is temporary, conditional, almost. The shoes beside the pillow tell a story. You are someone who rests with your boots on, who allows yourself small moments of softness, but never fully releases the readiness to move, to respond, to go. Jung called this restless consciousness, the psyche that cannot allow itself to fully inhabit the present because it is always managing the future, always bracing for what comes next. This often develops in people who, at some point in their lives, did not feel safe resting completely. Perhaps rest was interrupted. Perhaps stillness felt dangerous. Perhaps being fully at peace meant being caught off guard. And so the shoes stay on. Even when you lie down, part of you stays standing. Your challenge and your deepest healing is not in finding the right place to rest. It is in learning to believe that you are allowed to rest completely, that the world will not fall apart if you are fully present within yourself for a while, that you do not have to be ready to move at every moment. Take off the shoes. Stay. You have arrived somewhere worth remaining. The cat, the one who answers to no one. And if you chose the cat, then everything about you makes perfect sense. You did not choose a pillow. You chose a presence. A living, breathing, completely self-contained being that rests on its own terms, that gives warmth when it chooses to, that cannot be rushed, controlled, or persuaded to be anything other than exactly what it is. You are psychologically and emotionally sovereign. You do not need permission to rest. You do not need external validation to feel comfortable. You have developed, likely through years of quiet self-observation, a deeply rooted relationship with your own inner world. You are not antisocial. You are selective. There is an enormous difference. The cat in this image is not hiding. It is not afraid. It is simply sitting in itself, fully present, fully aware, watching the world with those calm, ancient eyes. That is you. You see people clearly. You sense their energies quickly. You know, almost immediately, who is safe and who is not, who is worth your warmth and who will simply drain it. Jung spoke of individuation, the process of becoming fully, authentically oneself, separate from the roles and expectations others project onto us. Of all the archetypes, the cat embodies this process most naturally. It does not perform. It does not apologize for its nature. It simply is. Your shadow, however, lives in the same sovereignty, because sometimes the people who need you most do not know how to reach you. Because sometimes your self-containment, as beautiful as it is, can look like coldness from the outside, like unavailability, like distance. You do not mean it that way. But the wall that protects your peace can sometimes keep out the very connection your soul is quietly craving. Your invitation is not to become less yourself. It is to let the right people in, not all the way, not all at once, but enough. Enough to feel the warmth of being truly known. The cat does not need to become a dog to deserve love, and neither do you. Whatever you chose, pillow or presence, your answer was not random. It was a reflection of something your inner world already knows. Perhaps you are exhausted from carrying too many layers. Perhaps you are longing to be held, truly, completely held. Perhaps you have been making yourself small for too long. Perhaps you have forgotten how to want more than just enough. Perhaps you have never learned to arrive fully in the present. Or perhaps you are simply quietly, magnificently yourself. Jung believed that self-knowledge is not a destination. It is a direction. And every honest choice, even one as simple as which pillow feels like mine, is a step in that direction. So tell me in the comments, which one did you choose? And did it surprise you? Because sometimes the most honest mirrors are the ones we never expected to look into. Like this video if something here resonated. Subscribe if you want to keep exploring the parts of yourself that most people never think to ask about. Your inner world is worth knowing. All of it.